Hey, sports fans. Welcome back to another edition of Beyond the Sidelines, where we bring the athlete to you. Today's guest is athlete Eric Liles, senior linebacker from Dakota State. And with me, BSN correspondent Kerry Gibbs, here to lead off the interview. Gibbs, what do you got for us?
Well, we have a dandy of a linebacker with us today. As you said, Eric Liles, senior linebacker from Dakota State. He was named a BSN preseason All-American on the second team, and this guy was a monster last year. 10.4 tackles a game. He ended up with 9.4 tackles overall. A little bit of everything. He had 3 tackles for loss, a couple pass breakups, forced fumbles, you name it, he did it. And I'll tell you what, Eric, it's a pleasure to have you on. Now, it seemed like last year you were in on every single defensive stop. How do you put yourself in a position to be in on nearly every single play?
Well, I watch a lot of film before the games, and I think that one of my biggest strengths is my instinct. So I'm always around the ball, always know where the play's going. I'm really football smart, and I try to be a student of the game, so that kind of helps me out a lot.
Oh, well, I imagine. And how many hours a week do you spend in the film room?
I would say depends on the team, but usually at least 4 or 5 hours during the week.
Well, and it really shows. It really does. Now, you had a string of about 5 games last year where you had no less than 11 tackles in a game. Talk about that stretch and what kind of zone you put yourself in.
I think I had a lot of help. We actually stacked the box a lot because we played a lot of running teams. So when it came to those last few games, and I had a lot of help with the D-line. Usually I don't have a lot of help. And I think I was just feeling healthy. Not a lot of people know it was the very first game I tore my MCL, and I missed the first 2 games. So last season I had a solid season, but it wasn't what I expected. So it's kind of disappointing. So I didn't really start feeling, back to myself. I didn't really start feeling explosive to those last few games. So.
And you really came a long ways from. I had to be a major injury. That's fantastic. Now,
think about what his average would have been had he had those extra 2 games. He's covering the field as much as the grass does.
That's one way to put it. That's a cornier than a joke I would make. I'm gonna give you that one. That's really good. But
I appreciate that.
Eric, talk about the rest of your linebacking core. Give some shouts to those guys. I'm sure you guys are pretty tight.
Yeah, we have. Actually, it's only really just me and another guy, Craig Hertz. We run a 4.25, and a lot of the other guys are really young. But Craig Hertz, we do everything together, so we play better. He's good as me. He looks up to me. He learns a lot from me. So it makes me feel good when a lot of these younger guys are saying, "Oh man, Liles, I've learned so much from you, and I can't wait to finally take your spot once you leave." So we're pretty nice group. I really enjoy it. So
now, Eric, do you guys have your own little? Your own little deal out there? Is there anything that you guys say to each other during the game? Is there anything that keeps you guys on focus, on the same page, that's just kind of between you two, or is it just go out there and find the ball?
Yeah, basically, it's kind of like a thing where it's just go out and find the ball. We kind of just look at each other. I was like, yeah, okay, it's time to go. Let's go. Let's start picking this team up because we are the team. The defense. We are a defensive sound team, so we really just got to pick it up and let everyone feed off our energy. So.
Do you guys have any rivalries? Who can hit the running back the hardest? Who can get the fumbles? Do you guys have anything in the game where you're saying, hey, I'm getting to this guy first?
me and Craig, we always compete so we can get the most tackles. And I was a little upset because I was hurt against Northwestern last year. They have a really good running back. I basically wanted to shut him down, but I couldn't play. So he did a decent job, but that guy's pretty good. I'm looking forward to playing him this year and really showing him what's up, So.
Well, there's our game to watch, Kerry.
Yeah, Northwestern and Brandon Smith is the running back's name. He will bring it to you. I'll tell you what, that's a game to look forward to.
Yeah.
Now, your team wasn't very fortunate last year in the wins column. How do you stay focused mentally when your team's going through a slump like that?
Yeah, it's really hard. I just try to stay focused and keep everything one game at a time. But like I said, we don't really retain a lot of athletes, and we're still rebuilding. So we're finally starting to retain our athletes. So I try to tell everyone, we're retaining athletes, and this is really our year. I think we can have a year like Doan and just really a senior dominant team and really just come out of nowhere.
Yep.
So that's what I kind of expect this year.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly. That senior leadership will take you far, I'm telling you. Now, you guys are independents, right? Are you in the independent?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, I mean, you can load up your schedule. I mean, you have a very, very tough schedule this year. Road games at Doan and Northwestern. How are you preparing mentally for those games?
We just have nothing to lose type deal. We believe we can beat those guys. We're very talented. We just got to come together. That's the hardest part about us is we need to come together as a team, and I think we'll do that this year. So, and we really get excited when we play bigger schools, and I think our schedule lead us up to that. Like the past few years, we've played Wisconsin, Whitewater for our home opener, and just teams that are just 3 times better than us. So I think us playing Peru State kind of lets us build up and get that game by game feeling, and I think we'll be able to do good.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think, going up against those, tough schools all these years is going to finally pay off eventually. I really think it will. I think this is your guys' year. Now, I noticed on your profile, you've been putting some huge numbers up in the weight room. Are you trying to increase those numbers during the summer, or are you looking to maintain?
No, definitely. I'm always looking to increase for sure, but still maintain that speed. I feel like the weight room is important because I can feel it on the field. Like as I get stronger, I can see me running people over a little easier. So some guys it doesn't translate, but for me it translates on the field. So I'm really serious about that with my training. I haven't even been home all summer yet because I'm just so focused on my senior year, trying to get better, get stronger, get faster. Kind of lead my team to some victories this year.
Well, your status says it all. I mean, Eric's profile here states my opponents aren't taking any days off, so why would I? And obviously that shows, and that's what's going to make this year exciting for you.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to imagine you being more productive from last season, but I really think all this time in the weight room is really going to pay off for you. And as we mentioned earlier, you were named a BSN All-American. What does that honor mean to you?
I mean, it means a lot, especially coming from a losing team. Because a lot of people, they overlook you. They feel like, I'm an okay player, but I'm on a losing team, so we can't be that great. So it just feels really good when all my accomplishments are appreciated. So it felt good, and I feel like this BSN is doing a really good job with everyone. I think it's a really good site, and I think it's going to be huge in the next few years.
We appreciate that, and that's the big thing about what we do here. And if our other BSN staff, Dan Evans, was here, I think he'd be the first one to jump out to say this is about recognizing athletes that deserve it. Obviously, you were recognized for your achievements. It wasn't about what your team did. It wasn't about the standings and the stats as a team. It was about what did Eric Liles do on the field. And obviously, you were named that because you showed what you're capable of. So, like Kerry said, I think you're going to have, a huge season ahead of you. You got, 10, 11, however many games. Hopefully you guys get into the postseason. But, I'm excited about watching you and just listening to this and seeing how you keep your profile updated. This is one heck of a guy to follow, Kerry.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's probably one of the most active players we have on the site. And I enjoy reading his statuses every day, just like the one you read. That's really inspiring. Last question from me before we try to wrap this up. Talk about your time at Dakota State and why you chose to go there.
For me, it was more or less school. I wanted my degree, and I wanted to play right away, which I did. So I had a few D1 offers, but not anything special, the red shirt, and I just wanted to go somewhere where I can meet the guys and play for them. I'm one of those guys where I'm really a team guy, and I want to play with play for these seniors and develop it. So, and I actually knew the coach in high school, and I played against him. I just had a monster. I got 26 tackles and some mice. So he called me up and he really wanted me really bad. So I ended up just deciding to go there. I felt like it was a fit for me, and I fit in the scheme really well. So it worked out.
Well, it sounds like a perfect fit. I'm really glad you picked to go there. I'm really looking forward to watching you this senior season. And Jimmy, I think we have some really great stuff coming from Eric Liles.
Oh, this is going to be great, and Eric, we appreciate you being on here on Beyond the Sidelines, and we'll definitely be catching up with you during the season.
All right, thank you guys for having me.
Thanks, Eric.